Yes, we are live.
Yeah. Should we begin now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, all, and welcome to third session of day 1 of this AICT Atal FDP. It's my pleasure to welcome the resource person, Dr. Prakash Itankar, sir. He is a professor, pharmacognosy section head at Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Director, Technology Park, Rashtra Sant Tukadoji Maharaj, Nagpur University. Sir has more than 26 years of experience, of which 6 is industrial and 20 years is teaching experience. Sir has worked on research projects which are based on industry problems, and he has delivered more than 90 invited lectures. He's a recipient of number of awards, to name a few. Prestigious Ethnopharmacology Outstanding Services Award received in 2015. Mahatma Phule Lifetime Achievement for Excellence in Social Work, Anandibai Joshi Award for Services in Health in 2015. He is a recipient of SFE Outstanding Local Chapter Award 2018, presented at the 18th International Congress of International Society for Ethnopharmacology at Dhaka, Bangladesh during January 2018. He is a recipient of Best Teacher Award by Rashtra Sant Tukadoji Maharaj University in 2018. Dr. Itankar sir's expertise areas include developing the educational strategies, driving the research activities within the perspective of natural products as specialization, sensitizing, socializing, and reinstatement of lost glory to the drugs of natural origin, as well as exploring new drug molecules, novel combinations, and novel dosage forms. Planning and execution of project on Panchagavya, right from literature survey, field survey, raw material exploration, standardization, formulation development, post-formulation pharmacopoeial studies, safety profiling, activity profiling, in vitro and in vivo studies, establishing the mechanism of action of the Gavyas enter study. This has been a vast project sir has taken up. He has been seeking patents, collaborating with academic and industrial partners, imbibing entrepreneurship, supporting and bridging the gap of scientific ambiguity amongst the traditional practitioners and end users. With this brief introduction, I might say that we are really honored to have a great personality amongst us today. I welcome you, sir, and request you to start with your session titled Social Integration of Educational Institutes in Promoting Innovations. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, respected Damle Madam, Dr. Gandhi sir, and I would just express my sincere gratitude first of all to AISSMS College of Pharmacy for giving me this opportunity, and I'm sure all my colleagues, who are part and parcel of this faculty development program would be really at comfort, even though they are now over with their lunch. But the whole title and topic of this FDP, inspires us to look into the extended domains of teaching. Like we need to really think of how can we support the startups, the entrepreneurships, and the other opportunities that should come out of the innovative thinking and that thought process. I would just share my success journey. So whatever the biodata, usually when somebody introduces you, it talks about what you could do in while you were serving this particular cause as a teacher, and then being in a research institute, what was your driving force, how you connected yourself with that of the society, and how you really observed the society, observed the issues and the problems which are prevailing, and then try to address those concerns of the society through your own skill sets and your laboratory. So I'm just going to share the happiness amongst you all, and maybe some of you could get really inspired by this. And Therefore, really, I like to give this particular topic, social integration of educational institutions in promoting innovations. So you can really see that where we are placed, we are having a lot of responsibilities beyond teaching and research. We are the only component who are rightly placed and connected with the society. So when I'm going to talk about this social integration in promoting innovations, we have to really open our eyes, open our ear, and need to be vigilant. So probably you are going to have the same experiences which I'm going to share with you today. So you may easily get connect with what I'm trying to pass it on to you today. So this is my department, and factually speaking, if you have this kind of department in your laboratory, the obvious outcomes for this is, just a minute. So the obvious outcome for this is the phytochemical studies, pharmacological and preclinical studies, doing basic research, and then going beyond that, pharmacognosy department can work on novel drug delivery systems for herbal. You can really work in the area of standardization and quality control of all those herbs which have been given in the syllabus, either prescribed by your own university or your teacher, or by compulsion. Now it is Pharmacy Council of India. But then this pharmacognosy department of University Department of Pharmacognosy, the Pharmaceutical Sciences, Nagpur University, when we took over this particular department with the experience coming from industry, so almost 6 years of my industrial experience helped me have a broader vision. So that was beyond teaching and research. How can we really integrate socially, and how can we really address many problems? So our mission mode was applied research and entrepreneurship development. So this itself suits with that of the whole topic of the faculty development program today. And usually what we really look for is a very specialized stream like pharmacognosy or pharmacology, and we try to work into that particular domain. We want to remain very specific. We want to achieve something very significant in one particular field. But what we learned from industry was interdisciplinary approach. See, while I was working in a quality assurance department of a multinational company, I really found that one single department in isolation cannot make a product. So a product, and then ultimately its quality has to be built in. Now, who are the important components of that particular building the quality in the product? In our case, our product is going to be our student and the research outcome. But in the industry, what I learned was the product gets a complete quality by proper training, by proper involvement of the we can say the human resource. Then you have to follow the standard operating procedures. You have to work. All the departments has to work hand in hand so that the final product comes absolutely wonderful. So right from procurement of any material for a company till its dispatches and sale, the whole team, including production, quality control, and whatnot, everything has to work in tandem. And then when a symphony comes out of this, then the real good quality product comes out. So what in case of our own product, like a student or the research outcome? So what we really found and we started working upon was the interdisciplinary approach. So you could find now that one of the wing that we expanded was ethnopharmacology. Now this was something which was not anyway core in pharmacognosy, but while working, while stepping out of the laboratory and then going into the deep forest, I am fond of going into the nature, and then I realized that there are people who harness wonderful pieces of knowledge and information, and their skill sets and their practices are so unique and ultimate that they have been offering what you can say, the health management services to our society for thousands of years. But what is their status in our society right now? And where we are, seriously lacking. So what we found was, yes, these people are there, but then there is no scientific validation of their products, practices, and their culture as well. So what can be done in that respect? So we started working in ethnopharmacology. Second was with the acceptance of the CBD, that is called as the Biodiversity Act in 2002, and India is also one of the signatory for that biodiversity treaty, which was later on followed by, and it is called as a Nagoya protocol. Nagoya is a city where these all the concerned countries who host the biodiversity all across the world were concerned about its diminution, or we can say wherein we are losing the biodiversity all across the globe. So what can be done in that respect? So when it came to India, India became signatory in 2002, but then we implemented everything through our Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha in year 2010. The reason behind this was over exploitation of our forest resources for the purpose of medicine itself. Now, while we exploited forest, we found that there are many useful species and very many meaningful, remedial measures, harnessing, we can say, medicinal plants. They were going obsolete now. They were going, we can say, they became rare and endangered species. Now, to protect that, to conserve that in the biodiversity zone, and then also meeting the requirements of the pharma industry, or they say herbal industry, there was a very serious discussion, and then came the idea of cultivating the medicinal plants. So we now can see that people are really engaged in cultivation of medicinal plants, and this is the now best source for the pharma industry to pick the raw material from, and not from the forest. Now, picking up the medicinal plants from the forest may become a crime if you are not intimating the biodiversity board. So this kind of a situation led the pharmacognosy department to join hands with the farmers for cultivation of medicinal plants in a very ethical manner. I'm going to share a few stories about that. Then came the Go Vigyan Anusandhan Kendra, so which is part and parcel of Panchagavya. This is part and parcel of Ayurveda as such. And in Ayurveda, one of the very important, we can say, remedy is Panchagavya. And this area was also lacking in terms of the scientific evidences, wherein we extended the help from our pharmacognosy department. We are working with forest department for right from authentication by using the phytochemical and other means. And latest means usually we can say that after one of the big conference that we have taken, I will just take you into that conference as well. But the industry which is struggling to come out with the herbal products, and they are seriously lacking in terms of their scientific studies or the scientific certifications. We tapped those industries and we helped them actually. So we helped them in establishing their products. How we did that, I'm going to share you. And the outcome then was certain IP, patents, a lot of intellectual property that came, and we shared it with the industry as well as our academic partners, and then they were the publications. So I'm going to just share you the experiences, and these are all success stories which many of you can replicate at your places. So there was this question actually, sir, we need an answer. And this question was asked by one of the very big company called as Organic India, which is located in Lucknow and is having now more than 500 crores of turnover. And this company, Organic India, many of you might have taken their herbal tea, and they are into the marketing the organic herbal teas with a base of tulsi. So tulsi remained their base product, and then they kept on adding other ingredients to make the tea more healthier and lot of given the lot of variety. But the CEO of this company, Organic India, who happened to be the alumni of one of our neighboring technology institute called as Lakshminarayan Institute of Technology. When he came for one of the alumni meet in year 2010-11, he just inquired with LIT professors that is there anybody who is working on herbal in this particular university, and then he set me and with me an appointment, and he gave me 15 minutes to just explain what our laboratory is doing for industry or for any other purposes. And let me tell you that our meeting went on for almost 2 hours, because the question with which he came, his question was, while Biodiversity Act came into force, now industry are supposed to get the raw material of the herbals from the cultivated sources. This company is having a tie-up with small and marginal farmers in and around Lucknow to the extent of 2,500 hectares of land, wherein this company provides the seeds of tulsi to them, and the farmer is supposed to grow the medicinal plant in their fields and harvest it and give it back to the industry for their manufacturing. Now this buyback arrangement was there, but the company was concerned that these farmers who were habitual in cultivation of, say, vegetables or other conventional food products in their field, by using urea, by using the chemical fertilizers, if any disease comes, they are it's a normal practice to use chemical fertilizers and like that. So the question to me was, sir, we have done a lot of literature survey. We have not got any literature whatsoever regarding medicinal plants, if they are cultivated by organic methods or if they are cultivated by non-organic methods of cultivation. What would be the impact of these two different methods of cultivation on their phytoconstitution and ultimately on their efficacy? So that was a big question. And he was, talking something very big. He said, we will help you, we will fund your, this particular project. So I just put it in a different way. I said, for any laboratory to conduct any experimentation or evaluation, you need to have minimum 3 samples. Now, for getting the 3 samples of the medicinal plants, you need to grow it for 3 consecutive years. So automatically your project duration is minimum for 3 years, and then the further research will go. So I told them that this is going to be almost 5 years research in a domain, which they readily agreed to fund and support. And I requested them to, give me one full supported student for a PhD. So that particular question came from Organic India, became one PhD project. And then we found that who all can help us. So National Bureau of Science Survey, because this was the first time in India, rather, that's one pharmacy college, or we as a pharmacist or the researchers were doing something which was absolutely coming into this soil. So National Bureau of Soil Survey was taken into consideration. Punjab Krishi Vidyapit was my research partner. Rajiv Gandhi Biotechnology Center and Indian Bureau of Mines were my research partners. Now imagine a question came, and we took up that challenge to just unravel what may happen if you cultivate the medicinal plant using 2 different methods of technology. One is organic, one is non-organic, and this led into a lot of scientific, we can say, outcome came out, and which we presented in many national and international conferences. I would just snake you into our experiences. Like this study was titled Comparative Study of Phytochemistry and Anti-Diabetic Status of Fruit Drugs Obtained by Organic and Non-Organic Cultivation. Now imagine while drafting this particular project, we chose one particular set of medicinal plants which can grow within a specific duration of, say, 3 months to maximum 1 year. And then, so because you have to have 3 samples for consistently having a consistency in your results, and the results has to be again then scientific, statistically significant. So we chose plants which can be really checked on various parameters like phytochemicals. That is all fine because we were good in that. But then what happens to these medicinal plants after harvesting and after preparing their medicines, and then what are their efficacy. So phytochemistry and their antidiabetic status. These were the plants which were taken, and all of these were known plants with the known anti-diabetic activity, because we really wanted to compare these plants, what happens, whether the activity goes down, whether the activity improves with the method of cultivation. And you can see this is just one example you can really look into. OMC means organically cultivated Mamardica charentia, that is Karela ka ped, and this was non-organically cultivated medicinal Mamardica charentia. Now, this study was not only pertaining to the phytochemicals or only for activity. It was actually a complete physiological process. We observed that what happens to the plant, where the land was prepared on same day, the seeds were sowed on same day, same manner, and two different plots which were statistically made significant by virtue of the scientists coming from Punjab Rao Krishi Vidyapith, and everything started on a parallel. And you can see that the observations were made on 15th day, 14th day, 15th day, and the growth of the plant was observed. Even the number of leaves, those are coming on the branchlets, those were observed. Number of fruits were observed. Number of flowers were observed. And what we really took help was of the botanist also in this whole process. And the whole observation was very meaningful when it came to drawing the conclusion at the end of it. So after harvesting, one of the, we can say, I will just share you one small story in my laboratory. After harvest, when you, you brought the product or the crop from the field into the laboratory, and we kept it for shade drying. And what we really found was like Trigonella phenumgricum, that is very commonly called as methi. It was brought and it was just sprayed across on the table, and the air in the ceiling fan was on. And see, the next day when I came to my cabin, the student Mohammad Tawkir, who was working on this particular project, he came to me running. He said, "Sir, I have very quick observation, and would you please see it, and can we just make out something out of it?" So I just ran into the laboratory, and I found that he said, "Sir, these are the two different produces, one coming from the organic plot, another came from the non-organic plot, and there is something different in these two products." So I said, I just observed, and I was really happy to note that जो organically grown हमारा product था, यानी for example Trigonella phenumgricum की जो सब्जी थी, वो एकदम से lush green थी जो organic वाला था, एकदम live थी जो organic वाला था, एकदम shining उसके leaves थे एक दिन के पूरे harvesting के बावजूद भी जो organic से आया था, और जो non organic से जिसमें हमने यूरिया, बाकी खाद, पेस्टिसाइड्स, ये सब हमने यूज किए थे. अभी वो डिटेल आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू शेयर, बट distinctly manufactured we can say. And what we found that वो जो मेथी थी उसमें जान ही नहीं थी. So you can imagine that if prima facie morphologically you can make out that on the very next day of harvest the crop coming from the non-organically cultivated area, organically cultivated area and non-organically cultivated area can be seen whether there is a life in it or not. Immediately you can make out. And then came the story of inner exploitation of phytoconstituents. Let me share you that now Mr. Mohammad Tawkir, who was my student and who worked on this wonderful project. See, many students were laughing while he was doing PhD. He was working in the field, and this field was this was some not of anybody. This was the campus of Nagpur University, because when we had to search for soil, the basic criteria was कि ऐसे soil चाहिए जिसके ऊपर में ये comparative study करना है जिसमें कम से कम पिछले 10 साल में कोई खेती नहीं हुई. And we were fortunate that ये जो piece of land Nagpur University campus का था इसमें पिछले 50 साल में कुछ नहीं हुआ. So this was the best we can say land which was available for conducting this experiment. Now he is an entrepreneur. I'm very happy to tell you, and his success story will also come later on. But while he learned all these things during his course of experimentation, see, this is the kind of thing we did is Mohammed Tawkir, and we were doing all kind of farming by our own, and we really measured everything point by point. And two significant things I am going to share here with you are the toxicity profile and the activity profile. So these are the two usual concerns a pharmacist will have while preparing a medicine. So on the left hand side, you can see some black three patches, and above there is a label called the OTF and NTF. OTF is organically cultivated Trigonella phenumbricum and non-organically cultivated Trigonella phenumbricum. Now, to conduct these toxicity studies, we have used very novel and innovative biotechnological model, which was there in Rajiv Gandhi Biotechnology Center. It was a very new protocol which they got. And here the significant thing is that there are certain fluorescent bacteria which fluoresce light under fluoresce under the specific wavelength light. And if you pour the sample which is of toxic nature, and if it kills the bacteria, the level of luminescence drops, and by that way you can make out whether your toxicity is or we can say the LD50 values that you can really calculate. So we use this protocol, and what we really found out that you can see A is a block wherein we have given different doses of organically cultivated Trigonella phenumbricum, and all the patches 1 to 10, we have found that everywhere the these bacteria, luminescent bacteria, they were glowing. So it means that the harvest or the medicinal plant coming from the organically cultivated, जिसमें हमने गोबर, गोमूत्र, कड़ू नीम का जो पाला है, यानी उसके पेस्टिसाइड्स जो हमने बनाए थे, एसिडिक्टा इंडिका के, लहसुन के फंजीसाइड बनाए थे, तो उससे आया हुआ जो प्रोडक्ट है, that was really helping the life to be there. As against that, same methi ki bhaji, Trigonella phenumbricum, which was cultivated on a parallel ground with pesticides and the chemical fertilizers, we could see that it was spreading the darkness in the shades because it were actually killing the bacteria. So if you look into this particular aspect, now we have to look back and see that whatever medicines herbal that you are getting, what will happen if the raw materials in it are coming from such a field wherein, say, chemicals and fertilizers, chemical fertilizers or very harsh pesticides are being used. Whether you are supposed to get the activity, you may get the activity, but along with the activity you may get the poison as well. And then the whole idea of giving a medicine for eradication of any disease will go off. And this is where we wanted to highlight that this anti-diabetic study was then performed in our pharmacology laboratory, and what we could see that even at the lowest concentration of organically cultivated Trigonella phenumbricum, we found that it was lowering the glucose as good as that of the standard. So, and we tried it at both the levels, acute as well as subchronic, and we found that at all concentrations, so whatever minimum concentration we had, 100 mg per kg concentration was taken, and 200 mg. So this, even at lowest concentration, the activity was much better as compared to that of non-organically cultivated highest dose dene ke bawjood bhi. So the most interesting thing was finding the heavy metals which were very high in content in the non-organically cultivated medicinal plants, as well as we found high level of pesticide residues in those plants. So what we really found that why there was no activity coming from the non-organically cultivated or say chemical fertilizer cultivated medicinal plants was because of two reasons. It was not having any less phytoconstituents which we feel are responsible for giving the activity. It was not. Sorry. So there was no difference in the level of phytoconstituents, but there was a definite difference in the level of anti-nutritional factors like oxalates, like phytates, like the level of your pesticides was very high. And probably that was the reason why we could not get better activity in the animal models when we put it for testing. Now, this particular piece of information, which came out of 5 years of drastic study, right from, we can say, land to lab now, and it was about to go back to the lab to the industry. So we shared all this data with Organic India, which was the main sponsor of this whole project. But they never restricted us to share this data or this piece of information with others. So we went with this piece of data and information to all those farmers who were interested in cultivation of medicinal plants henceforth, and they were really lacking in terms of any guidelines. So we went, trained the farmers in this particular component, and I'm very happy that even around Vidarbha, there are now young budding farmers. Why I say budding farmers is because this next generation of farmers was not interested in cultivating the regular crops like soybean or gehu, or they are now fed up with that. They wanted to take the challenge, and one of the very big avenue for them was cultivation of medicinal plants. So we helped them. Technically, we assisted them, and now more than 100 acres, almost now 160 acres of land is under cultivation of medicinal plants. There was another, so that was the first kind of interaction with the social component. Then another thing that came was sir, I need your help. So there was one person who came to my laboratory. I still remember him. He introduced himself. He said that, sir, I am Gopesh Badwaik and I belong to Gondia. I am into the business of marketing of the educational material to the government of Maharashtra. However, since I am absolutely good in marketing, I wish to have something which I can take it to the masses, and it should be some kind of herbal product. So you could now understand that the person came asking me to give him some product which he can go and sell because of his good marketing skills. So what happened is a success story. So I just proposed him, okay, see, most of people talk about having diabetes, and then it is again presumed that India is going to be a diabetic capital. Why don't you try your luck in this particular domain? So he said, sir, absolutely fine. The arena in which I work, yes, really, all the the government sector in which I hover, usually they have diabetes, either the person himself or somebody in his family. So he said he liked that idea of getting that particular herbal product for diabetes. So should it be as the products Me Too kind of a products which are available in market? No. Since you came to my laboratory, I said let us think on it. So we just thought of having electrol. Electrol is something which all of you remember during sunny days when you exhaust your body by sweating, and then you need the regeneration of yourself, then you take the electrolyte, and the very common one is electrol. So we just poured upon the idea of naming this particular product as Diactral. So diabetes, and then tral means something, a combination of remedies which is going to regenerate you. Now regenerate what? As we all know that diabetes affects the pancreas. So we thought of can we not give a product which can regenerate the pancreas? So if there is a damage, it should regenerate, means the improved pancreas should now supply the good insulin, and the innate demand of the person regarding insulin shall be fulfilled. Another idea in bringing up this product was in the morning itself, he should drink this. And the reason for that was some traditional healers knowledge, and they were giving some kind of medicines by asking the patients to come right in the morning, empty stomach, and take the medicines. So there is a proper reason behind that, and the reason is that your body absorption system remains at the high when your stomach is empty. And therefore, we decided to come out with this particular product with 2 doses, one in the morning and one in the evening. And I prepared a complete formula कि उसमें क्या रहना चाहिए. Then we had this as a master of pharmacy project, and the complete work of its phytochemistry, of its formulation development, of its release profile, of its and the activity also. So anti-diabetic activity also, that was all checked, and the product was given. Now you can see this kind of sachets we have made, and he tried. Today, now this was somewhere in the 2017 when he gave me a letter and he started a company called as Hilarious Ayurveda. Now your topic is startups. This was the startup for this person. We supported him. We means all of us, in my place, you can keep yourself and you can say that we supported one person who was not a pharmacist, who was not a science person. He was belonging to the art, but he was having a skill to market the product. So we gave him a wonderful product with a good idea and the concept. And what happened, you can see, this was the letter which was given by him. And he says that our first product, Diactral, whose initial research was done at your department, awarded as best novel Ayurveda medicine in December 2016 by Gujarat government at national level Ayurvedic and natural product exhibition organized by Ayush. Now this product is sold across India and globe. So I'm very happy to share you that somebody who just walked in my cabin and was, just sharing his skill sets. We shared our skill sets. We shared our own product to him, and he made a wonderful now business out of it. Now he is a freelancer. He gets all his order on the mobile phone, on his app, and he keeps on running his company, which is now established in the MIDC of Gondia, and all the products are delivered after getting the advance amount. It is not something he always say that, sir, my business is something different. People pay me first because of the best results coming out of this product, and I am really making good life out of this. So this was, sir, I need your help, and we helped, and this was a kind of a startup. Another story I'm going to tell you was about one IIT Powai student, belonged to Nagpur. He did his IIT, a BTech from IIT in mechanical, and he was on a picnic to Melghat. Now all of you might have heard about this name Melghat, and one very odd term attached with this Melghat is malnutrition. So this young fellow, immediately after finishing his BTech, while roaming, actually he went for a picnic in Melghat, and he just got a connect with the villagers, and he found that yes, there are many NGOs working in this particular area who are trying to eradicate malnutrition. However, they are absolutely failure. We can say that even after so much of effort by so many NGOs and so many multinational, fundraisers and fund support, still the condition has not improved in Melghat. So this person, he came to my laboratory and he said, sir, what might be the reason why we are not able to, get rid of malnutrition in this particular area? So many, companies, they are ready to donate their protein powders, their, health supplements, and they are giving actually. Then I said, what is the problem? Then I personally made a visit in that area, Dharni and other areas. And what I really found was amazing. There was a different kind of, eye-opener. Wherein I found that, okay, Vidarbha has 2 pockets of forest. One is in Gadchiroli and another one is in Melghat. Now, Gadchiroli, with its wonderful biodiversity and bioresource, never faced a problem of malnutrition in that area. Same kind of tribes probably live, the aboriginals and indigenous people are there, but they never faced the problem of malnutrition. However, Melghat region is still or equally, we can say, rich in terms of its bioresource, but the people there are malnourished. And what we really found is that the external supplements which are being poured on them, you take the protein supplements, you have been advised with n number of vitamins, minerals, this, that, to these indigenous people. And what we really found out that because of the non-acceptance, non-palatability of this kind of food products, these people, they have stopped taking these products, stopped consuming it, and therefore the situation still prevails like that. However, we discussed with this particular student, we discussed that can we really think upon including their own bioresources, means the medicinal plants which are there in their own region, to make a formulation which can be useful for them, because it is a nature's law that in whatever vicinity that you live, the Almighty has made arrangements that you should get shelter, you should get all your facilities, including the medicines, if needed, from the nature itself, which is surrounding you. Then we really focused upon certain potent herbal, which are available in the Melghat. And one of my students, Rasika Rangari, she worked on it, phytochemical and preclinical evaluation of herbal formulation, which we prepared as a potent health supplement. And I'm very happy to share you that this particular student, he was politically very powerful, and he had a tie-up with many schools in that area. And we had a group of students who were from the age group of 6 to 12, and then they were in a different classes. And then the group of students were segregated. One group was given our herbal formulation, another was deprived of that. It was like a the closed kind of a study. And then what we found is that the parameters like their height increasing, their weight increasing, their intelligence increasing, and all these kind of studies, they were properly done. And what we found was that the herbal or the medicinal plants available in Melghat only, when properly used, or if properly used, might solve the problem of malnutrition in future. And this was a successful product which we prepared. Then started, after we started doing this kind of a work, automatically the industries, particularly the small micro entrepreneurs who were around Nagpur and this region, they started approaching us. They were having their established products, but they were lacking in terms of validation. So the product was there, but never, because it was herbal, any proprietary medicine was framed up like anything, and they were good with their brand in the market, and they were selling this product. However, they were absolutely not satisfied with the performances and the queries which were coming to them from their customers, because they were not able to solve their queries which were of scientific nature. They came and talked to us, and what we found is that yes, we could help. Like Vipini Herbals, they had polyherbal skin cream, which we established phytochemically, and we did all kind of standardization using the chromatographic, and this was for hyperpigmentation. So we really found out different batches, and then we gave them the most optimized formula. Vipini Herbal shall use this polyherbal formula, which can give you the highest of activity. So that kind of help we extended to them. Another was like polyherbal hair oil, Keshwardhini oil, and we really established a model, and the batches were optimized, which would give the highest hair growth potential. Then this Physilax was another amazing thing, because this was in big demand for anal inflammation and piles and like that. And one of my students, Jija Lode, she worked on this, and the formula was improved. So not only we did the standardization, but we helped them improve upon the formula, and the company started really getting the best feedback from their customers. So like that, anti-asthmatic herbal preparations. Unijuice Life Sciences is a comparatively bigger company, and they were into some manufacturing using ashwagandha as one of their components, and they were really skeptic. The whole industry, they said that whole industry who are using ashwagandha in their products or formulations are skeptic because of the inconsistency in their quality. So they said that, sir, can you please give a comparative evaluation of ashwagandha sourced from different regions of India? And it is usually said that there is one place in Rajasthan wherein the best ashwagandha grows. So we took that as a standard, and compared to that, we took, the ashwagandha that was grown in different regions. And we came out with wonderful data that has really helped many industries to understand from where the product should be procured, or from where the ashwagandha shall be procured. Then psoriasis kit was done, and many other products. Then and while we started with small and micro companies, then came the call from a bigger company, and that was, sir, can we work together? So that was Baidyanath Ayurved Bhavan. It's a very big company, and they are having their own research wing also. Even after that, they were tempted. They were very happy to come down to us, asking for the necessary help, because since our students were engaged in all this, and we always offer our students to open up with their different view, different angle to look into the same problem. Probably we are all quite matured enough. We usually look into the problem just from the angle of literature survey and our own experiences. But when it comes to students, they may give you some new idea, and therefore our team of students and myself, we usually sit during July August, when the finalization of our projects are happening. And that time, many new ideas, new ways of tackling these problems came out, and we are really happy with that. So you can see that even with Baidyanath, we have helped them in establishing a very novel product, and that was called as a plaque buster herbal formulation as a potent anti-atherogenic agent. So the whole concept was different. Having a plaque means a blood clot in your artery or in your blood circulation is either going to affect very seriously to the heart or to the brain, and we usually call it as heart attack or brain stroke. And this was a product which we targeted, wherein we used some few new medicinal plants which were in their traditional practices only. It was not there in we can say Ayurveda, but it was beyond Ayurveda, and we tried that, and a lot of studies have been done, including Baidyanath has done some the level 1, we can say, clinical studies also, and the product has really served well for this company. Soon we are going to have a blockbuster coming from Baidyanath Ayurveda, and it will be on the shelf. So that is the success. Then Vanshlochen samples, evaluation and optimization of senna extract tablets, mouthwash for its cytotoxic potential in oral carcinoma was another product which we helped them construct. And yes, while everything was happening, the companies were very happy to tell us that how significant our contribution in their product development is. So they say that for last couple of years we have been working with Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences. It's very heartening experience, as many of our industrial problems were tackled smoothly through various research projects given to the postgrad students. The work performed in your good laboratories was of very good quality, as they were done using scientific protocols. And it has helped us in getting working solutions for our research products in pipeline. So what else you want? You as a giver, as a teaching institute and a research institute, and you may have a question in mind somewhere while listening all these success stories, that, sir, how much consultancy you have earned out of this? So I'm very happy to tell you that we earned zero consultancy. We never charged our industry partners about all this. Rather, we always express the gratitude and thank them for giving us the challenging task and helping our students in completing those tasks. So students were directly helped by the industry in whatever way they want. Like they used to get all the chemicals from them. They used to get all the facilities if at all they need to outsource. Yes. Then all specialty chemicals, not the regular ones, but like the biomarkers, if you want, yes, the industry shall help them. Even you will be surprised that when we went to Bangladesh for the International Conference of Ethnopharmacology, 22 of my students they were in Bangladesh, and it was all by the support of industry partners who were, taking help from our department. So when it comes to consultancy, I say that I have a very big consultancy which is coming up in terms of, jobs to my students, in terms of empowerment of my students, in terms of giving an insight to my students how to make a startup, how to become an entrepreneur. And you could see now that many, even the Akash Latoria, one of the students who worked on Govigyan, he now has his own concern in Buldana and is now an entrepreneur. So these things are, teaching us. Now, while we were either approached by small industries or the other people to our laboratory, there was one area wherein I personally was socially connected, and I really found that yes, our laboratory and our pharmacy skills and our skill sets are good enough to support one particular branch of Ayurveda, and that was called as Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra. So we didn't stop for Govigyan to come to us. No, we stepped out and we reached out to them saying that, sir, there was the coordinator of that was Sunilji Mansinka, and I just went to Devlapar, which is a place around 70 kilometers from Nagpur, and this Anusandhan Kendra already has the network of scientists coming from all CSIR laboratories, because when Mashalkar sir was the Director General of CSIR, during his visit, he made a connect of Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra with all CSIR laboratories. Mainly CMAP was in action, National Botanical Research Institute was in action. CSIR NEERI, National Environmental Engineering Research Institute in Nagpur, was in action, and they were all supporting Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra. However, there was a big miss in terms of understanding of the requirements of the Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra products with respect to its pharmaceutical significance. And therein, we roped in our efforts and our strength for validation of their products. And you can see that many students, now I have given a few of the projects, because we started with them in the year, say 2015 or 16 onwards. And every year, we take all our students to this particular center. They stay there. They house themselves, they accustom themselves with that environment. They understand the importance of this particular area of indigenous science, and then one or two students, they come out very strongly that, sir, we would like to take the topic of our Master of Pharmacy, or we would like to devote our time and energy for validation of Panchagavya products. That is the victory of being socializing in integration of our students with that of the problems which are of societal significance. And you can see that Medwar for anti-obesity, Shatadot Grut for wound healing activity, Ashtamangal Grut for anti-Alzheimer's, wound healing activity of Jatyayati Grita and Gandha Grita, Panchatikta Grita for psoriasis, Vanari Gutika for aphrodisiac activity, Ashtamangal Grita for anti-Alzheimer's, and again the comparative quality control and aphrodisiac activity of Vanari Gutika. This was something which I would like to tell you the story about. This last one, 8th, you can see that the title of the project for Pratik Dhokne, one of my students, was Comparative Quality Control and Aphrodisiac Activity of Vanari Gutika, prepared using indigenous cow, buffalo, and Bos taurus, that is Jersey cow. And this project came out from the Rugnanubhav program. And Rugna means patients. Patients share their experiences after taking the Panchagavya medicines prepared by Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra. That is an annual event. And in that annual event, when we were part of that, there was one relative of the patient who rose up, and he said that it is good that you are preparing the medicines using the Desi Gai and its products. And you also insist that all those products coming for the Panchagavya products shall come from the gavyas of indigenous cow, means देसी गाय के ही होने चाहिए, ऐसा आप इंसिस्ट कर रहे हैं. तो आप ये बता सकते हैं क्या कि कोई अगर प्रोडक्ट पंचगव्य का अगर हम लोग भैंस के गव्यों से बनाते हैं या फिर जर्सी गाय जो अभी बहुत ही कॉमनली पाई जाती है हमारे आजू बाजू में, उससे अगर बनाते हैं तो प्रोडक्ट के क्वालिटी में क्या फर्क होगा? कोई फर्क होगा क्या? तो ऐसा कोई स्टडी ही किसी ने किया नहीं होने की वजह से वो क्वेश्चन जो है वो अनुत्तरित रहा, बट दैट गेव अस अ चैलेंज and we really made one project out of it, and this project took me right to USA. How, that I'm going to tell. Now this, what we do usually when it comes to product, the product is already Granthokta and it has been manufactured by Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra for so many years. They are having a FDA license and they are manufacturing around 47 products which are based on Panchagavya. Now what we did, while we started working on Medoar, we prepared we had 3 different kind of samples. We had the product coming from the Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra. One is only distilled cow urine. Medoar contains one medicinal plant only, and that is Kesher, that is Crocus sativus, and it has got one biomarker that is called as crocin, which we can measure on our chromatographic systems. Now one is the product coming from Govigyan manufacturing, and another one was manufactured in our own laboratory by our student. Now what we found was that the activity of reducing the fats, मेदो हर, मेद को कम करने वाला ऐसा अर्क, तो दिस इज द ओनली अर्क, ओनली वन एंड ओनली, एक ही अर्क है जो आयुर्वेदा में दिया गया है जिसको औषधि के स्वरूप में मेद को कम करने के लिए, यानी फैट्स जिसको लेके सारी दुनिया अभी पागल है और स्टैटिन्स खा खा के अपनी बहुत सारी बीमारियां बढ़ा रही है, तो उनके लिए ये बहुत अच्छा उत्तर है जो शास्त्र ने दिया हुआ है, मेद को हर करने वाला यानी कम करने वाला. तो हमने देखा कि when the product was standardized, the percentage crocin in the product which was manufactured in our laboratory was high, and probably that was the reason why we were getting the anti-hyperlipidemic activity more with that of our sample. And what we did was that we just went and found out how the manufacturing was done in the Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra, and we really found out one process modification which really led to increase in content of crocin and thereby its anti hyperlipidemic activity. So the process was modified and this led to better activity, better percentage of the active, and ultimately the better activity as well. So what we really found out was this kind of help from a pharmacy institution is necessary for, you might have very small manufacturers around you which are insignificant in terms of, say, business or business volume or their product characteristics, but they are severely lacking in terms of certification, which you can really help them build that particular certification. You can help them build confidence in their own products and thereby support them and help them. Another is Shatadauta Grita, which is otherwise, working against the rule of science. Grita and Shatadauta. Shata यानी 100 बार धोया हुआ घी. Now ये किससे धोया है? पानी से धोया है. आपके आगे में ये जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वेसल दिख रहा है, इसमें आपको ये पानी नहीं दिख रहा है यहाँ पे, because you have the grita in front of you. There is a water here in this particular part, and you have to wash it with the 100 times with the water. Now science says that two immiscible phases cannot come. So one is non-polar, one is absolutely polar, and Shastra says that you have to wash the grita with water 100 times following certain SOP, and then what you get is a product which is wonderful emollient, which is wonderful anti-aging cream, which is best antioxidant cream, and like that. And what we really found was we confirmed the new uses. Like we thought of, if such a wonderful cream is coming out of this Shatadauta, can we use it for its wound healing activity? Can we use it for that? And we really found this. Now this is one complete picture of the animal studies that we did using Shatadaut Grita, and wherein marketed product means the one Shatadaut Grita manufactured by Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra. And this was an open wound incision model that we did, and it was having all kind of science in it. Did not go into detail because all of you are quite aware of all this, but you can see that there is a yellow mark here, and on day 16 ये जो रेस शुरू हुई थी कंट्रोल से लेके, जिसमें नो ऑइंटमेंट बेस वाज देयर, मींस नो शतोदोतक ग्लिटर वाज देयर, देन प्लेन काउ घी वो लिया था, मार्केटेड प्रोडक्ट ऑफ दिस शतोदोतक ग्लिटर ऑफ गोविज्ञान अनुसंधान वाज देयर, वन वाज मैन्युफैक्चर्ड इन आवर ओन लेबोरेटरी. Another, we tried to include a turmeric in this Shatlotak Grita so that it may add into the wound healing potential. And finally, we took Pramycetin ointment as a standard. But ये जब रेस शुरू हुई ओपन इंसिजन के बाद में, तो हीलिंग में जीता है हमारा गोविज्ञान अनुसंधान केंद्र का शतोदोतक ग्रिता. And what is amazing is that it was much better and faster than Pramycetin. So what I mean to say, my friends, is that when we have something in front of us, let us look at it in a different way. Let us innovate. Let us break away from the the rigid walls of thought process, and then really you can find out something new. This was another of my PhD student. Now he is also an entrepreneur. I'm very happy to share you with many entrepreneurs who were once upon a time my student. So Ashlesh, when we did this kind of product, this product was a biotransformed product. So this was again one of the very new concept we tried with herbal. So biotransformation we tried with Gomutra as the phase of extraction. So usually we look for say ethanol, methanol, acetone, ethyl acetate. So we just thought of can we not use Gomutra as a solvent for extraction of phytoconstituents? What may come out? Let us see that. And in that particular project, what we thought of was baldness and the hair growth potential of one of the leaf that is called as a tobacco leaf. So there is a traditional use of tobacco leaf and its poultice, means उसको crush करके उसका poultice बनाते हैं और सर के ऊपर में या जहाँ पे भी बाल कम हो गए वहाँ पे उसको लगाने की एक traditional practice थी. So we just thought of can we improvise upon this particular activity of tobacco leaves, that is called as Nicotiana tobacco, and we tried it with the Gomutra as one of its solvents, and that was a wonderful we can say exercise and wonderful experimentation. We had different trays, and for different days the exposure of that leaf of Nicotiana tobacco was there with the Gomutra. Now during that particular patch of time, we could see that some microbial growth is also happening in that, and we were just contemplating whether this microbial help is very selective. Growth is selective because of the presence of highly alkaline cow urine. So it may not allow all the bacteria to grow in that particular medium, and only specific bacteria will grow. Now, what would be the role of those bacteria? Now, those role of the bacteria will help us convert the phytoconstituent, original phytoconstituent, into something new after we extract it. And we filed a patent for the process wherein we optimized the method of extraction, and we found that yes, the product with only 0.2% of our extract has started giving us the clinical results. This was all with consent of the patients under the observation of the physicians. And you can see that case 1 and case 2. And yes, there was heartening thing. However, you just can't claim it under the Magic Remedies Act, but the evidences are evidences, and you can really inspire yourself by looking into this kind of results. So we were helping our farmer friends also in getting their produce organically grown. As you can see, our fields of Shatavari and the Pashan bed, that is Coleus 4 scoli, we are working closely on the problems given every year by Shri Shell Medi Farms, and these farmers are actually the product, we can say the problems of the land, and they just throw us across to us, and we just try to give them the scientific answers. So Tulsi cultivation, and then the traditional healers. Now what you need to really have is to have a good personality, Shuddha Man, and then connect with these people. You can see Asaram Dunadkar in Chandrapur and Gadchiroli district ke border pe ye vyakti rehta hai. His house is outside the village. So अभी भी हम लोग देखते हैं कि yes, there are communities which are living outside the boundary of the villages, and we went to him for the treatment of my mother who was suffering with arthritis and my auntie who was suffering with varicose veins. And you can see there are many this kind of iCards, iCards in his गले में पहना हुआ है. And मेरे मिलने के बाद में when I started inviting him into various conventions and conferences of ethnopharmacology. Now he has become a resource person. He manufactures his products here in his kutia. He brings all the products, raw material from the forest nearby, and he prepares. Uska yahan pe wo crushing ye hai vata or vanta, and then he prepares the medicines here only, and he sells it. Now you would be amazed that he is already a good startup, and wherever he has attended the conference, he always put up a stall over there, and he connects with the people. Now we have given him the exposure to get connected with the visitors of that conference, and many patients all across India, they have their phone numbers. They send the amount to him. He dispatches the medicine by courier to patients. So wonderful kind of remedies are there. Now, while working and understanding them, what we really found was that yes, we all acknowledge that वो लोग बहुत ही जादूगिरी वाले लोग हैं, बहुत अच्छे उनकी ट्रीटमेंट्स हैं, बहुत ही सुंदर वो ट्रीटमेंट करते हैं, मगर हम उनके लिए क्या करते हैं? तो हम जनरली व्हाइट कॉलर्ड लर्नेड क्लास जो है वो उन्हें झोला छाप बोल देते हैं. वो हम उन्हें जो है बोलते हैं कि ये झोला छाप है, कुछ तो भी वो स्टेरॉइड्स मिक्स करता होगा और इसलिए उसकी एक्टिविटीज आती है. बट माय फ्रेंड्स, यस, वैसे केसेस भी होंगे, मगर आप इमेजिन करिए कि एक 100-150 साल के पहले जब एलोपैथी का कोई नामो निशान नहीं था, तो क्या बीमारियां नहीं थी? और बीमारियां थी तो उसको ठीक कौन कर रहे थे? तो उसको ठीक करने वाले लोग ये परंपरागत ज्ञान बटोरने वाले ये जो वैद्य थे, यही थे. We cannot ignore them in this particular era. Ignoring them means losing upon the intellectual property of India. पूरे देश का जो नॉलेज है उसको हमने पीठ दिखाना है. उसके तरफ में मुख ना करते हुए या उसका स्वागत ना करते हुए अगर हम लोग उसको इस तरह से इग्नोर करते हैं कि भाई इनके पास में कोई साइंस नहीं है, they cannot explain it in a scientific way, they are whatever claims they are making, they are all bluff, it means that you are fooling yourself. Rather, ये करने से अच्छा हम ये हैं कि let us go close to them, let us talk to them, let us understand their problems, acknowledge them. And this was the outcome of one of the suggestion which I had made in World Ayurveda Congress that was happened in 2014 in Delhi. So I was in the valedictory program, sitting in the audience, wherein Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji came, and he, in his valedictory address, said that Ayurveda and beyond Ayurveda, there are guni and important people, those knowledgeable people in our nation who holds wonderful knowledge, and how can we really connect with them and engage them in the constructive activities through which we can generate a lot of intellectual property. And World Ayurveda Congress is usually meant only for the Ayurvedic doctors. This is organized by Ministry of Ayush. And in 2014, वो suggestion box में मैंने चिट्ठी डाल दी थी कि probably we are missing out on the major component of the health system, and that is our traditional healers. This suggestion was accepted. Now, what can we do? We as a teacher, I just put my suggestion, and in turn came the letter from Ministry of Ayush through the organizers, that is World Ayurveda Foundation Bangalore, that your suggestion is good, but we would like you to steer this particular activity in future. Now you can see that this was the first congregation in the World Ayurveda Congress जहाँ पे सारे BAMS और शिक्षा लिए हुए वैद्यगण आते हैं. ऐसे कांग्रेस में 17th parallel session was given, and there was the meeting of the ethnopharmacology, and around 160 healers from 16 states, they were the part of it. Now this whole stage was theirs. They were the speakers, we were the listeners, and you would be surprised that many big shots, including Dr. Y.K. Gupta of IIM, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi. He was also one amongst the listeners who was listening to them, and they were really pouring out their heart in telling the community, the scientific community, that yes, we have wonderful formulas, kindly strengthen it by your science. We cannot do that. And how can they? They do not have the laboratory. They do not have any expertise in, putting up the science behind it. But they know the formula. They know how to diagnose the patient. They know how to cure the patient. And that is what they are doing regularly. So instead of asking them the question about the science behind it, let us join hands and construct the science for them. That was the concern. And with that, we began. And because of trying to give something to them, some acknowledgement and appreciation for them, we went on right up to, framing the policy dialogue for local health tradition, which was initiated by the Transdisciplinary University, that is formerly known as the FRLHT Bangalore. And I was fortunate to be the part of that deliberation in New Delhi, which was hosted by Quality Council of India. And because of the consistent efforts made by Quality Council of India, I was something like a volunteer, but I was really a kind of I was gaining a lot out of so many discussions which were going on, and I really felt that yes, definitely this is something Rashtra Karya for which I am part of it, and very small volunteer अगर मुझे करने का भी मौका मिलता है तो भी ये बहुत बड़ी बात देश के लिए हो सकती है. And what we really poured upon while framing the policy for them was this policy document should be different from the existing Biodiversity Act, which will be exclusively for copyright protection for a traditional healthcare practice. And thereby I started looking into the Nagoya Protocol, which talks about the ABS, that is that is called as the sharing. So whatever knowledge that you are going to generate based on the basic information from the traditional healers, and if that knowledge is getting translated into some kind of a products or a business entity, then can we or should we not have the sharing of all those resources back to the original inventor, or we can say the person who holds this knowledge, or the community which holds this knowledge. So this kind of a initiation was taken, and you can see that now usually the complaint is that वो लोग कुछ बताते नहीं, वो अपने secrets कभी reveal नहीं करते. And this was, yes, it was true. 2013 was our first meeting in Gadchiroli along with the forest department. The meeting was set and no Vaidu came for that meeting because of the fear that probably we are the one, some just like previous others who came to snatch their knowledge. It took a lot of time and efforts for us to, now you can see that 2013, when I'm telling now we are into 2021, now they are saying, sir, we have complete belief in you. The way you are approaching us, and the way you are involving many other scientists and scientific bodies with a shell of protection that your knowledge will not go, say koi chori nahi karega. We are going to help you protect that, and that is again under the ambit of laws. And you can see that now they are coming up giving us the projects. They are saying, sir, we have such and such kind of a product which is good in this particular thing, and then can you help build the science for that? Yes, we started already. From last year we have initiated, and I just invoke and I just appeal all of you to be open with your capabilities and with your laboratory and your own skill sets, because soon we are going to have a wonderful, very big database of this piece of information, and those who wish to volunteer and support this particular cause of building this science for traditional healers, ultimately we are doing it for our nation. It would be the biggest thing. Now this is the success story. So confidence building and then going together towards the success. Then ये जब आप naturally करते हो तो क्या आता है? So we could found that many times you find difficulty in getting collaborations within your own institution. So there might be many reasons for that, but I am really very fortunate because we have got intra-department collaborations. We have got inter-university collaborations. Now we have got international collaborations as well. So people are really looking at you and the way you perform. Now all this I am telling without taking any. I have not told you anything, any research projects wherein I said that I got 50 lakhs funding, I got 1 crore funding, nothing. Without any help, all of you can do big things. Just you have to, think in a different way. That's all. I'm telling you, the help will come if your vision is clear and if your motive is absolutely pure. So you can see now, this is the list of industry which are into, collaboration with us, and we are helping them. Actually, about 43 now, almost now this year, we have already crossed 50 mark of the research projects in collaboration with industry. And all of this has contributed some or other way for the industry. So what I really found, as I was telling you, that consultancy, if you ask, I have earned 0 rupees. But what we have earned is a big thing. This is a win-win situation. Academia, industry interaction, when we talk about, and what we did was industry got working solutions. So we gave them solutions. And this is what is the demand. Usually industry complaints कि आपके सिलेबस ऐसे हैं, आपके काम ऐसे हैं, आपके प्रोजेक्ट्स ऐसे होते हैं कि जो हमारे लिए कुछ खास इफेक्टिव नहीं होते हैं, हमारे सॉल्यूशंस उसमें नहीं है छुपे हुए, तो हम लोग उन्हीं के प्रॉब्लम्स लेके उन्हीं ही सॉल्यूशंस दे. दूसरा, we understood industry needs and expectations. So now there is a very good connect. Every year with the beginning of our academic session, we have a meeting with industry friends and we share the ideas. This is really amazing that when I stepped out somewhere in 2011-12, the industry was amazed कि अरे कोई प्रोफेसर कोई असिस्टेंट लेक्चरर आ रहा है इधर से यूनिवर्सिटी से, शायद इनके पास में प्रोजेक्ट की कमी होगी. But because of my industry experience, I always found that अगर applied अगर आपका रिसर्च नहीं है तो कोई विशेष आपने बहुत बड़ा काम नहीं किया है. आपके पब्लिकेशंस बहुत अच्छे हो सकते हैं, मगर आपके रिसर्च का काम डायरेक्टली सोसाइटी में क्या हो रहा है, क्या कंट्रीब्यूशन हो रहा है, वो छोटा भी हो रहा होगा तो मेरे लिए वो बड़ा है. और उसी दृष्टिकोण से अगर हम लोग देखते हैं तो हमने देखा कि सबसे बड़ा बेनिफिट इज कमिंग डाउन टू आवर स्टूडेंट्स, बिकॉज दे आर कंडीशन्ड to look into any problem from the industry perspective. Then there was no financial pressure on students. Students को करना था बस, and all help was given to the student by the collaborative industry. That led in rise in confidence of my student. All the pharmacognosy students are now well placed. Either they are into best of the jobs because of the hands-on experience, work satisfaction, and this has resulted into increased placements. Now, socially integration, जब भी मैं बोलता हूँ, when I was part of establishing an incubation center for Nagpur University, wherein we received more than 5 crores of grant, that time, all these industries with whom I worked, they gave a letter of intent कि हम लोग उस incubation center में सर अगर वहाँ पे हैं तो हम लोग जुड़ना चाहते हैं, and we wanted to develop the products in future as well with so with my name we got around 30 industries consent letters, and that has really helped me bring the incubation center for Nagpur University. With your journey, you have to keep writing, and the writing would be in terms of the books, and this has started happening. Then we filed number of patents also. This is also all a recent journey. This is all we are learning as to how to translate your piece of knowledge and information and the science that is coming out into the intellectual property document. So in terms of research publications, yes, there is a definite shoot up, but now we really want to focus upon the key, we can say parameters or key achievements which can be translated into intellectual property. So that has happened. And while doing so, we started getting the opportunity attending the international conferences in India. Yes, it was there, but outside India also. So going out and then connecting with the international scientific, scientists, and then getting some, we can say view and vision about their mindset and where the world wish to go in future with regard to natural products. So all that started coming in, and all that knowledge and learning from the international conferences and international scientists, you can really pour it into your own laboratory and amongst your students, and you can drive the research into particular segment very fast, because nowadays research means speed. So if you are first in coming out with some findings, then you would be appreciated. Otherwise you would be just like a follower kind of a thing. So Entering into the new domain is usually initiated by participation in the international conferences. Now, one of the conference which I wanted to tell some time back was about this Oxford. Vanari Gotika, about which that question was raised by the relative of a patient in Anubhav, Rugnanubhav of Govigyan Anusandhan Kendra, became a research problem, and we came out with a comparative data कि देसी गाय, भैंस और जर्सी गाय इनके गव्यों से बनाए हुए वानरी गुटिका इस प्रोडक्ट के एफिकेसी में क्या फर्क पड़ता है. Sorry. What I found, the outcome was really interesting. It was mean for Vanari, means bandar ke jaisa, agile, strong, and it was focused for aphrodisiac activity, so increasing the sexual power. So all of you are aware about the pharmacological protocol through which we measure the aphrodisiac potential. We did that, and we really found out that the product was coming from the indigenous cow, Gavyas, was performing really well. It was way ahead of the products which were prepared from bhais and the Jersey guy. Now, these findings I sent to this is one of the biggest conference on the globe. This is an international conference on science of botanicals organized by University of Mississippi, USA, and my paper was accepted, and I was given all kind of assistance I got from the industry, my industry friends. Besides travel grant, that you have to have a lot of funding for reaching out to US, and all that conference means I literally had to pay zero amount for attending this particular conference, and it was all because of the industry partnerships. And this is the kind of the हम लोग बोलेंगे कि माया है कि मया है कि वानरी गुटी क्या जैसे एक छोटे प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर में काम करने के बाद में without any kharcha, my conference was made, and I was really amazed to see the way the topmost scientists on the globe are thinking about the natural products in future. So with that vision, we came back, and we have already started working on many bigger and many different kind of projects, wherein we are going to focus upon our Indian context. Means in Indian context, with our Indian medicinal plants and our culture and our tradition, how can we grow big is our dream, and that we are going to do. You being a teacher, you need to be a leader in organizing many conferences, and you can see that there is a series of almost 50 conferences in 5 years. So out of that, and all this is organized by me, means I was organizing member of all this, including the secretary for the second International Congress of Society for Ethnopharmacology, which was, I think, some of you might have attended it, and this was a iconic conference that we had in Nagpur in the year 2015, February, and all the levels of scientists, almost 22 nation scientists were here, and they were the best of the ethnopharmacologists. Like standing up here is Dr. Michael Henrich, whose guidelines for research in ethnomedicine are taken as a gold standard in Europe. So he was part of that conference, and many big notch. But we always kept on attending the traditional system. So we had a pre-conference workshops on Panchakarma and Kshara Sutra and like that. So it was a big start. Besides that, we had we can say the business meet here. So the industry friends had a meeting with Honorable Nitin Gadkari ji. We had the products. These were the products wherein we helped the tribals of Gadchiroli coming out with a processed products. So if they were selling the raw material as such, instead we told them to make it into a powder form and pack it and preserve it so that they can get a better pricing. So forest department also had helped us in giving us the land for tribals to establish their own production unit in the Gadchiroli, and their brand was also very good, and that was called as Janadhan Vanadhan. So helping them in coming out with their own resources, but with bigger returns was our dream. Then being a learner, you have to first learn and then you have to disseminate. So we reached out to farmers, we reached out to all those who needed help in strengthening their own skill set. So you can see that we had the flash chromatography for isolation of phytoconstituents. So we had workshops on this. We have the HPTLC and we have HPLC as well. So we are advancing along with the requirements of this particular area, and we are ready to train others and share our piece of information with others. This was one of the wonderful conference that we had, wherein we facilitated the arrangement of buyback between all the purchase heads of the herbal industry coming down to Nagpur, and the people who were responsible for either cultivation or a few other people like jungle में जो आदिवासी हमारे ये जो लोग होते हैं, they are given one जड़ी बूटी and they are asked to collect it from the forest. So औषधि संवर्धन संगोपन गुणवत्ता संवर्धन व विपणन यानी राइट अप टू इट्स मार्केटिंग, इस विषय को लेके हमने फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट के साथ में लिया है. देन ट्रेडिशनल फूड, दाई फूड इज दाई मेडिसिन, ऐसा ये बोलते हैं. ये एक ही स्लाइड में आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, इसके ऊपर मैं एक पूरे 1 आवर का हमारा प्रेजेंटेशन है, क्योंकि वी हैव वर्कड विद देम नाउ आइडेंटिफाइंग. अगर मैं आप लोगों को पूछूं कि कितनी सब्जियां आप लोग हफ्ते भर में खाते हो या फिर कितनी ग्रीन सब्जियां आपको मालूम है, तो आपको अभी हार्डली 3-4 ही मालूम होगी जो मार्केट में मिलती है. मगर ये जो डाइवर्सिटी है, जो बायोडाइवर्सिटी हम लोग बोलते हैं, which was in terms of getting a food from the natural resources, which was absolutely rich in terms of all its nutritional contents, was the part of our research which we had in Bhiwapur Tehsil and in Umred Taluka. And we worked with ASHA workers for 6 months just to understand what are those wild edible plants which were otherwise part and parcel of our platter, and because of which our ancestors were healthy and strong, and we are not. Why? Because we have lost this particular bounty of nature which was available with us, and we have replaced it with the commercially available the vegetables. Then we had this conservation of Lok Swasthya Parampara program. We are working with Nutrition Society of India, so looking food from the traditional angle as well as the modern concepts angle. We are working with the Nutrition Society of India. Many research projects are also going on, and with Ministry of Ayush, like I told you, the World Ayurveda Congress Pharmacology Conclave in 2016. Later on, we had it in Ahmedabad, and a lot of integration is happening. So you can see Vijay Bhatkarji is mingling with Dr. Y.K. Gupta, and then our Suklalji, who is a healer from Jharkhand, and then Rajwadeji, Ram Prasad Rajwade, Nirmal Kumar Avasthi, and our Avdesh Kumar Kashyap. Avdesh Kumar Kashyap is known for his bone setting and bone fusion. तो किसी का अगर हड्डी टूट जाता है, अगर क्रैक हो जाता है, तो 72 आवर्स में वो ठीक कर देता है, और वो टूट जाती है तो 8 दिन में ठीक कर देती है. And this has been experienced by me because of the accident. ये event कलकत्ता से मैं आने के बाद में, and then I was flying to New Delhi. I was inside the airport. I was already security checked in हो गया था, and then my sister who met with an accident called me, and she said that people have now lifted me and kept me beside the road, and there is something happened to my body. I am not able to stand up. So another of my relative took her to the Wockhardt hospital, and it is found that the collarbone was broken, and the orthopedic surgeon, he said that we cannot do anything else, we cannot put the plaster here. So he just set the bone, and then he give the belt, so that you become immovable, and she was told to rest for almost 1 month. So what happened was, the claim which was made by Avdesh Kumar Kashyap, I challenged him, and I said that okay, can you send the medicine? So he sent the medicine by courier, and from 3rd day my sister started taking the medicine. Believe me, on 10th day her bone was fused, and this was observed by the doctor, and he was absolutely amazed by looking into. He was not knowing what was given to the patient. So many opportunities came in, wherein I started working for the Ministry of Science and Technology as a national coordinator for Young Scientist Conclaves, for Grassroots Innovator Summit, wherein I started getting new ideas. So it was beyond pharmacy scope, but the responsibilities were really enriching, and it really helped me look into different aspects beyond our syllabus and beyond our limits. And this was the latest ethnopharmacology conclave in Jamia Hamdard in 2020. How you teach your students is also very important thing. And if you bring innovations in your teaching, so what the new education policy is talking about is they have innovated in terms of the students picking up the courses, and in between they can leave the course, they can take the certificate after 1 year of their learning, and a lot of innovation in educational practices. But if you innovate in teaching to your students, you can really see that they can connect very nicely. So your visits to the forest, to the biodiversity parks, to the herbal industries, engaging them into the processes of manufacturing, traditional way and the modern way as well, and really you will find that students are really getting impressed and they are involved in very many constructive activities. So everywhere you need to be there. So as a teacher, we are in classroom, we are in the laboratory, we are holding their hands and taking them to the fields, to the industries, everywhere, to the markets, and looking for the problems which you only can solve. Now while you do this, you have to be socially responsible. So you have to encourage that. So I was fortunate to, rather I had asked the National Service Scheme responsibility to be given to me. And with that, we found that yes, students, besides only teaching and teaching and teaching, are more interested to connect with the teacher if you are taking them into some other arenas of their interest. So they are good in getting socially connected with the orphanages, with the vruddashrams, with the visits to the military centers, to the sports centers. They are engaged in organ donation rally, and then this really helped bring out the best out of the students. So you can see many activities we kept on taking. You can see students contributing for donating the cycles to the orphanages and mingling with them. See, every we can say emotional quotient of your student has to be properly tapped in so that the student flourish. Now, when you talk about innovation, when you want them to come out with a startup, definitely those students has to go through this process, because unless you go and look into the problems which are right at the basic level, right at the grassroots level, the student will not be able to understand what kind of a startup you want to make. So what kind of requirement is there? If that is not clear to him, how can he make a start? And then you can see that students are really making good. At the same time, you have to keep them showing that addiction is one of the things which is going to block their progress in future. So visit to the de-addiction centers. All this is part and parcel of the topic, that is a faculty development program. And we as a teacher only are supposed to be instrumental in making them aware about all this. So we are the parents, we are the teachers, we are the mentors, and our students are our products. So everything you can see that they are involved into. We have the best of these speakers brought from say the international platform to the national level, and mostly we are boasting upon the big range of alumni, highly renowned alumni from industry, from academia, and like that, being brought to the students as a resource persons. And this is the common program that we are taking. This is again a social integration, alumni and department. And you can see that big programs were organized, not only for department students, but also all the students of pharmacy from all the colleges in Nagpur. This kind of programs can be organized, and we have brought the best of the people for them, so that the students should get inspired. Now, this social integration should not be limited only for the purpose of कि मैं research क्या करूँगा. Research होगा ही, मगर उसके लिए लगने वाला जो एनवायरनमेंट है वो आपको तैयार करना ही होगा। करने के लिए in the department we made a history by attaching all our scattered alumni all across the globe for the first time after the gap of 65 years, and the result was wonderful meeting, commitment, and then development of a facility which you will say that the point of first contact between any speaker coming from outside and our students, along with other facilities like the first of its kind, the water conservation facility, the borewell was given by the alumni, the firefighting system for the wonderful auditorium, and you can see that almost 2.1 crores they spent in 2 years for rebuilding their own department. So when we say funding, funding is not meant only for the purpose of research. Funding means overall development and upliftment, and this has really emboldened us. This has really took our confidence to the next high, and every college and institution can really connect. Instead of क्या हमें मिल सकता है, अगर हम लोग ये सोचने लग जाए कि हम लोग क्या क्या दे सकते हैं, तो वापस आने वाली चीजें इस तरह से मल्टीप्लाइड एंड मैग्निफाइड होती हैं, ऐसा हमने देखा. So alumni are helping us in building up the pharmaceutics formulation development laboratories along with the fundings coming from our university. So university के साथ में मिलके they gave us the very perfect neuropharmacology lab. This is the girls' common room. So all these are social integration components which are really necessary for any institution in coming days. So we have got various chapters in different cities. Then even the alumni meets we had during my meeting, visit to USA, and we have a very vibrant alumni association with a independent portal, and all this has led to what? So ultimately our product is students. So students were the highest beneficiaries, and what we found was that our placement graph was going towards the sky, and every year we are getting the best placements, and every institutions might have, but this was something like we did it in 3 years, and we could found a drastic change because of the change in the approach and change in the thought process. Now this change is at our personal level only is important. The big policies might come from the government, but we are the implementers. If we do not implement it at the ground, it will be a big failure. And therefore, as a responsible teacher, as a responsible component of givers category, we need to be really available for all the opportunities that come on our way, as long as we focus upon our students, their progress, their growth, and they reaching to the top of their aspirations. So if we facilitate that, nothing big on that. Then came various opportunities for putting your thoughts and ideas and then sharing on radio, then on different channels. And then during COVID, what we were doing, so along with the traditional healers all across India, even I was also involved in preparing the kada for our policemen, for our sabjiwala, domestic helps, so that the piece of information that came from the science and the traditional healers, that okay, around our own compound, our own society here, there might be plants which are antiviral, which are immune booster, and we never boast upon going and buying something. It was all free of cost. It is all given to us by the nature, but we really are failing in understanding what nature wants to give us. So it is all around us, and it was really surprising, I'm telling you, that when the healer says that okay, bel ki patti aap kade mein daliye, and when I Google it out on Agile marmalades, I found that Chinese scientists, they have already done the antiviral studies after 2003, when there was a SARS outbreak in China, and they have studied the they have done the scientific study on the medicinal plants of India, which were known for building up the immunity, which were kas nashak, means anti-cough. And so this is the kind of a surprise for me, that what are we doing? हमारे पहले चाइना में अगर उसके ऊपर में काम हो जाता है और हम लोग उसको सिर्फ रेफरेंस करके लेते हैं, तो हमारे लिए it's it's really, I will say, something, really a problem. I'm telling you. So, and therefore, whatever strength that we have, we must be the first to build the science behind, besides, and for the natural resources that we have in India. And this kind of a services kept on going. So keep on, every year you have to plant the tree, you have to donate the blood, you have to keep on, doing the yoga exercises, keep yourself physically fit. If you are fit, then definitely you are going to be, available for others. In the way came several awards, as it was told to you, that no, this is something you have to imagine, that you are there and few things you kept on doing. Definitely there would come an acknowledgement. The whole branch of Nagpur local chapter was acknowledged in Bangladesh for consistently doing good work. And this was one of the best moment wherein you have been acknowledged as best teacher award. What else you want, that you are the mother institution and the mother university acknowledges your contribution. And moreover, it comes to the student feedback. So what students are thinking about you is more important. And this is what kind of a board that I have in my cabin, which inspires me, which keeps me motivated, and which keeps me into always into a super positive domain. And these are all remarks given by my students. So just observe them. What are they, talking about you? What are they expecting from you, and what are their opinions about you? And this is what we see, that in the NAC and NBA and maybe the new education policy that we are talking about, it's all on feedback. But it's, instead of a mechanical kind of feedback, I believe that the feedback that comes from the heart is more important. And these are the certificates which are much more valuable for any teacher than any certificate that comes on your way in an official method. So these are my students. I really love them all, bless them all, and I always wish that they should reach to the top of their aspirations. So even in teaching, we need to have future plans. So it's not at all confined by Pharmacy Council of India that you should not think about the future. Yes, we are committed in developing our department as multidisciplinary unit. So all of you are welcome. So if you are good in any specific skill sets, definitely we can discuss, deliberate, talk, and work on the projects of common interest. And we believe in applied outcome from our research, providing assistance to all stakeholders in herbals. So my limitations are now gone. I am out of Vidarbha now. I am now helping establish the industry in Sikkim now, and the offer has came through one of my alumni who is running a SciPex INC. So we are going to work upon establishing a good manufacturing unit in somewhere in Manipur. So that kind of a opportunity is going to come. Establishing a link between basic sciences and traditional system of medicine. So that is another thing. Therefore, I am working here along with Foundation for Resurgence of Research for Resurgence Foundation. So and thereby engaging with the Institute of Science, which is a basic science institution, then Hislop College, that is another science college that is working along with us, and we all are sharing our strengths to develop the traditional system of medicine, strengthening our ancient system of medicine and folklore medicine, contributing good scientists in pharmacognosy, and encouraging entrepreneurship. Because this is a kind of an area which is like हम लोग बोलते हैं कि भाई कॉग्निसी में ड्रॉट आ गया है ना, इसमें तो अभी लोग ही नहीं मिल रहे. And I'm telling you, everybody is working on naturals, but really, I'm telling you, a lot of hard work is necessary. A lot of patience is necessary if you're working on naturals. You cannot just have a tablet placed into the tablet dissolution and then you are looking at the results. No. Working on natural, you can understand the intricacies, the complications, the polyherbal nature of the products, and then after having everything together, you have to set its the pKa values and other parameters, and then all kind of pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, as well as its efficacy and safety. So it's a long journey, and you need to be very patient while you come across all these things. Then working towards innovations and patentable intellectual property, taking our department and our team to the top by active contribution. And then our coming collaborations are big collaborations. Somewhere, if I'm sure that is going to happen. So I had been to Tirupati Devasthanam. I was called upon, and we are going to establish state-of-the-art futuristic Panchagavya Ayurvedic Aushadhalaya for Tirupati Devasthanam. Then, as I was telling you about the SciPex INC, we are talking about cultivation of exotic medicinal plants, which are going to be import substitutes. Then facilitating alumni association, that's all fine. Then developer, yes. Soon you will be getting news on my Facebook after another 2 months that in our nation now we have got the 5-star Panchagavya Ayurveda production facility, and I'm really happy to be one amongst the volunteer in giving a final shape to it. So it's going to be a 5-star facility for manufacturing of Panchagavya products. And we have already started with repository of Govigyan centers, and you just visit the Panchagavya repository by Googling it. We worked it along with the Dattamegi Institute of Medical Sciences, and wherein you would get all the research papers, patents pertaining to Panchagavya at one place in one repository. And even you will get the people who are working all across India on this particular issue. So besides that, yes, I would also like to welcome you all. Whenever we are going to have the IPC, it would be in Nagpur. It was supposed to be in 2020, but pandemic has pushed it, and whenever it will happen, it will be in Nagpur. I am the organizing secretary, and I welcome you all to the upcoming Indian Pharmaceutical Congress, which is going to be mostly physical only. So we would be soon out of our pandemic zone, and then we would like to come back and meet in Nagpur in IPC. So summarizing my talk, I wish to provide that all the wisdom in research for establishing the panacea from natural sources. Now, while we do this kind of studies, while we develop the new medicines, while we try to come out with our own findings, let it be by preserving the holiness, aesthetically extend the technological advantages, and developing scientific evidences. Now, these evidences only are going to be accepted by the modern community. But while we do this, we have to keep our heart, mind, and intuition altogether receptive. Pehle to lena hai. And for that matter, you need to be broad-minded, broad-hearted, highly patient, and you have to love what you do. And whatever journey I have told you, I have just crisply taken you into each section of, say, the work that we have done. And ultimately, it's we, it's not at all me. One person cannot do much. And during this particular pandemic, I wish to pray for all of you to the God Almighty. He Ishwar sabko sanmati de, arogya de, sabko sukh de, anand aur aishwarya de, sabka bhala kar, kalyan kar, रक्षण कर और तेरा मीठा नाम मुख में निरंतर रहने दे। ये विश्व प्रार्थना सदगुरु श्री वामन राव पई इनकी जीवन विद्या मिशन की है, जो मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी और इट इज वेरी क्लोज टू द नेचर, law of nature. And I wish to thank all those components which has made me become something to share about amongst all of you, and that includes even you, and therefore I express sincere thanks to all of you. My contact number and my email ID is there on the slide, and thank you very much to all of you for patient listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Idranka sir. It was a highly motivating session, and it is quite obvious from the chat box itself. The chat box is a mixture of a lot of compliments and a few queries. So just for the convenience, I'll be picking up some questions, and if the time doesn't permit me to take a call, we will post the remaining questions to you, sir.
Yeah, please.
So I'll start with a few. My colleague, Dr. Tina Saldana, wants to know, to perform clinical studies of herbal supplements, are there any guidelines or approvals required to be taken, regulatory approvals? If you can
Yes.
throw some light on this.
Yes, definitely. This came across to us because when I got to study this, when we were thinking of clinical studies, proper clinical studies for Govigyan products, and that time we had a lot of deliberations with the physicians from the Tamega Institute of Medical Sciences, and we came to know that there is, rather we had visited all that website. You have to go to the CDSCO website, and there is a registry for the clinical studies that you wish to do. Now, for that matter, you need to identify a principal investigator who has to be a physician or a doctor. Now, the clinical studies would get registered on his name, and you can be his co-investigator, even though you are the inventor of a product. But for that complete clinical studies, the principal investigator would be a physician, and that is what the necessary. So we have already submitted a proposal for the ARC, which was really performing well, because in general what we found was those गौशालास, सारी गौशाला जितनी भी है पूरे देश भर में की, वहां काम करने वाले जो लोग थे और जो गो अर्क लेने वाले लोग थे, उन्हें कोरोना ने नहीं छुआ है. So we were thinking of taking up this immediately, because its safety was already proven. That product is already there in the market, so you need not have to go into safety and other details. But you have to perform that against the corona patients, and therefore this study was submitted. I was part of that whole study, and yes, definitely you need to register your clinical studies, and you need to have a physician along with you.
Right. Thank you, sir. The next question is from Dr. Akshay Baheti, sir. He wants to know whether do we have any concrete data on malnourished children who received the nutritional supplement prepared in the lab. Was there, or were the students, or were the children benefited?
Yes, obviously, because it was that startup of VSK Herbals. It was the student who came from freshly from IIT Powai, and his experience was like that, and we just deliberated कि एक समझ लीजिए कि एक geographical area है, और उस geographical area में जो लोग malnourished हैं, ऐसा हम लोग जो बोल रहे हैं, और दूसरी तरफ में हम लोग नेचर के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, यानी निसर्ग बोल रहे हैं कि निसर्ग जो है वही हमारे लिए भगवान है, उसने हमारे लिए सारी व्यवस्थाएं यहीं पे की हुई. और अब तक अगर हम लोग अगर देखें तो एक गांव अगर सोचा जाता था, तो गांव में ऐसा नहीं था कि बाहर से बहुत सारी चीजें आती. तो ऐसे गांव में मैं गया हूं जहाँ पे वो स्वयं पूर्ण है, वहां पे सिर्फ माचिस की तिल्ली और नमक, ये दो चीजें ही बाहर से आती है. तो ये जो स्वयं पूर्णता थी, इसको अभी हमने ब्रेक कर दिया है ना. और हम लोग अभी ये चाहते हैं कि भाई ये सारी जो व्यवस्थाएं हैं, ये नेचर से जो आ रही है, वो जब तक किसी कंपनी के माध्यम से हमारे घर में नहीं आती, तब तक हम लोग उसको समझ नहीं पा रहे हैं. तो इस चीज को अगर हम लोग ध्यान से अगर देखें कि हमारे लिए ये सारी चीजें अवेलेबल हैं और उसका हमें किस तरह से उपयोग करना है, तो इसमें जो साइंस इनपुट्स जो हैं वो हमारे जैसे ही लोग सिर्फ कर सकते हैं. Even I really worked with, say, colleges or institutions who are into basic studies, like Institute of Science we are working. उनका exposure ही नहीं है इस तरह का, and therefore you cannot expect them to work on applied projects. They are good into doing basic work, but we being a applied faculty, we also wish to do basic research. So that is something we are जो हमने सॉरी करना चाहिए अप्लाइड काम, और हम लोग भी उन्हीं के जैसे बेसिक रिसर्च करने के लिए दौड़ पड़ते हैं. शायद उसी के लिए फंडिंग भी मिलता है, और उसी लिए ये हम लोगों को प्रेरणा देता है कि फंडिंग उसके लिए मिलता है, इसलिए हम लोगों ने वैसे प्रोजेक्ट्स करना चाहिए. बट आई एम टेलिंग यू, व्हाइल आई वाज डूइंग सो मच ऑफ वर्क hand in hand, paisa was not at all a problem. There were all kind of facilities which were made available. by different people, different resources will come. And I have not showcased what we got from DST or DB. So all this can be done.
Yes. Moving ahead, we have a question from Dr. Nilesh Mahajan, sir. He's asking, can you guide us regarding what herbs can be used to mitigate malnutrition? And secondly, hyperpigmentation.
सेम वही है प्रॉब्लम. यानी जो पहला हमारा जो प्रश्न था उसी से ये भी है कि माल न्यूट्रिशन को लेके जो डेटा पहले क्वेश्चन में मांगा था और अभी भी, तो डेफिनेटली यू हैव टू कीप ऑन आइडेंटिफाइंग द वर्किंग ग्रुप्स. तो हम लोगों ने जब माल न्यूट्रिशन के लिए कोशिश की तब हम लोगों ने एनजीओज का कुछ डेटा लिए थे और हमने पता लगाया कि ये लोग क्या दे रहे हैं. तो सप्लीमेंट जो है वो जनरली बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां जो है वो स्पॉन्सर्स करती है और बहुत सारे जो प्रोडक्ट्स है, डब्बा वाले प्रोडक्ट्स जो है वो बहुत सारे वहां पे जा रहे हैं. स्टिल द प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट रिजॉल्व एंड देयरफॉर वी इन आवर नेचुरल वे वी थॉट कि अगर नेचर ने हमारे लिए सब व्यवस्था अगर आजू बाजू में की है तो ऐसा क्यों है कि गढ़चिरौली में माल न्यूट्रिशन नहीं है और यहाँ है. तो डेफिनेटली वहाँ के रिसोर्सेस हम लोग यूज शायद नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. एंड वी रियली zoomed into and we identified the herbs. Yes, there are definitely herbs which increase your stamina, which can keep you working for hours together without even a sip of water. And this is all observational studies, and this is where we need to intervene and we need to support them without expecting anything from them. You are not supposed to be thinking कि भाई मैं इसमें से कुछ प्रोडक्ट बनाऊंगा और मैं अपनी कंपनी डालूंगा और मैं इसमें से पैसे कमाऊंगा. ये अगर सोच रखेंगे तो वो लोग कभी भी आपसे बात नहीं करेंगे. शायद ये उनका बहुत ही बिटर अनुभव रहा है. 7 साल के बाद में आज हम ऐसे एसोसिएशन में आ गए हैं कि जहां मैं आपको बताता हूँ करीब करीब आज 40,000 वैदुष जो है पूरे देश में के वो हमारे साथ में अच्छे से जुड़े हुए हैं. And now the steps are moving up along with the ministry, and we really wanted to protect them. And this is where the new Biodiversity Act is really going to help us. And the access benefit sharing, ये जो एक सिस्टम आया हुआ है, तो access benefit sharing में जो भी benefits हैं जो आने वाले हैं कमर्शियलाइजेशन के बाद में उनके विचारों के, उनके प्रोडक्ट्स के, थॉट्स के बाद में, ये उन तक वापस पहुंचाने के लिए बिल्कुल है. हाइपर पिगमेंटेशन के लिए बहुत सारे औषधियां हैं. पंचगव्य में इसके लिए बहुत अच्छे प्रोडक्ट्स हैं और बहुत सारे पेशेंट्स जो हैं उनके पूरे डिटेल्स, क्योंकि पहले गो विज्ञान अनुसंधान में पेशेंट्स के डॉक्यूमेंटेशन जो है ना वो साधा जैसा एक डॉक्टर के पास में होती थी, एक फाइल होती थी, वैसा होता था. बट नाउ वी हैव गॉट ऑल द फोटोग्राफ्स, जिस द कोर्स ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट इन द पेशेंट. So whatever improvement is there, everything is being properly documented. This is what the learning is. Even we had to, teach the doctors, Ayurvedic doctors, they are learning now, they are progressing. So everything that is called as evidence, that is going to be helpful. So we have got the physicians also to help. So if you have any patients, kindly contact me. I will definitely immediately give you the name of either the healers if you want, or the Ayurvedic practitioners who are officially Ayurvedic practitioners to treat the patients.
Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, we have a question from Dr. Jameel Ahmed and my colleague Dr. Shashikant Bhandari. They have similar questions. The question is something like this: what is the criteria for patent registration of phytopharmaceuticals?
Right. So patents, when it comes to naturals, it is very clear that whatever things which are obvious, means things which are naturally present in the plant, you cannot patent on your name. That is not your contribution. That is obvious. But then the smart people, they have really infringed into this particular line of not you cannot patent. So they will say, I can patent. Okay, then how can you patent? You can really do some kind of manufacturing change over into the structure of it, or you can mix 2 or 3 different kind of plants which have significant phytoconstituents, and you can always say that this design of product is unique, and that design has to be now patented. You cannot patent one single plant, one single phytoconstituent. No, that is not allowed. because that is obvious that you have not created, that is not your innovation, that is just called as a discovery. So you have discovered it, and therefore you cannot patent. But the way out, how you can see the phytoceuticals going into patent is because of your thinking, your ideation, your creation in terms of, combining 2 or 3, different medicinal plants. And yes, definitely, this is how even the industries are also doing. They write it as patent and proprietary medicine. So proprietary means his own design, and that is how you can also go ahead. That is not a problem. Nowadays, we as a researchers, we can really think of, coming out with something unique, like you can find out a new uses of the established, plant or combination, and that use can be definitely, put into the claims that you are talking about for that patent, because that you have found. This was not there in the traditional system or nothing, nowhere else. So that is your own creation. You can patent that. So that way you can limelight yourself. Industry may, converge and then may look for you, that you have made something, a good concoction, we will say, which has been proven and which has been supported by evidences. So you have to, and you only have to prove that, yes, the thing is working, and you have the preclinical data, you have the safety data, and you have got all the standardization parameters all set. And then the whole stuff is ready, just like a drug master file. Before you file it to the patent office, everything has to be ready with you. And I believe that one single person, it is very difficult. I have been part and parcel of writing and scripting 4 major, patents along with Khurana, which is the topmost patent attorney sitting in Delhi and is the patent attorney of most of the big allopathic pharmaceuticals. And nowadays also for the natural. I was fortunate to be working with them for almost writing the 4 patents, and believe me, doing it singly is a tough task. यानी writing जो है वो तो easy हो जाता है, पेटेंट हम लोग बोल भी देते हैं कि हमारे नाम पे एक पेटेंट हो गया, मगर हम लोगों को जनरली अभी क्वेश्चन आता है कि ठीक है, आपके उस पेटेंट का कितना कमर्शियल वैल्यू है, उसके लिए कौन आया है, उसका क्या ट्रांसलेशन हुआ है, वो नहीं हुआ है. उनका कहना है कि पेटेंट राइट करना ये एक बात हो गई, ये कला हो गई. हम में से बहुत सारे लोगों के पास में अभी पेटेंट शायद आ भी गए होंगे, पर कमर्शियल वैल्यू नहीं है तो कुछ भी हम लोग कैलकुलेट नहीं करना चाहिए. दूसरा अगर है कि अगर एक पेटेंट को खड़ा करना है तो यू नीड टू बी मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी, यू नीड टू बी अ टीम, यू कैन नॉट बी वन. बिकॉज राइटिंग अ पेटेंट, गेटिंग अ पेटेंट इज ओके, हैप्पी थिंग. रिटेनिंग अ पेटेंट, what if your patent is infringed? You have to have a lawsuits thereafter. So are you in a position to do that, to protect your own patent? You cannot, because a lot of money is involved. Having an Indian patent is 1,000 rupees, but having thereafter there are the real taste of that happens when you need lakhs of rupees to have it. And therefore what I would say that at the very smaller juncture, you handhold or you share your piece of information with all confidentiality agreements along with the bigger industries. Reach out to them, handhold, so that वो आगे के खर्चे जो है वो आपके कंधे पे ना रहे, वो बड़ी आपका जो पार्टनर है वो करे. And that is the advice, because otherwise at our level, at a single level, we cannot sustain the patent for a long period of time. Thank you.
That's very true, sir. An excellent piece of advice. I'm sure as teachers, our dream is always to have some patents on your name, but we never think really beyond getting a patent granted to real commercialization, wherein a teamwork is really necessary. You need to have partners there, definitely. Yes. Looking at the time constraints, sir, I would take just one last question. It is from Dr. Deepali Kanwal. She's saying that she is from a commerce background. But gardening is her hobby. Okay. So what advice will you give her to take gardening to developing an enterprise?
Oh, that's great. Actually, we worked with the Nutrition Society of India in this regard, and really working with different organizations gives you a different insight. And there was a concept of small kitchen gardens of the medicinal herbs that was placed before me, and it was really working nice. Beyond that, I will tell you that now it's a big business to have nurseries of medicinal plants henceforth. Because with the drive of making everything green, why not plant medicinal plants is the concept now. In Chhattisgarh, our Traditional Healer Association is a big gainer in this context, because they are working with government of Chhattisgarh, wherein they are implementing the schemes of Ministry of Ayush in cultivation of medicinal plants back into the forest, and also to the cultivators. So what are they into? They are into making the nursery of medicinal plants. And that's a big business nowadays. Even in our Nagpur, Shri Shail Medi Farm is one of the unit along with whom we are working, and they are now almost 20 years old, and they are growing every year with the nursery of medicinal plants.
I'm sure your advice must have encouraged Dr. Dipali, and sure she will take it up. Thank you very much, sir. As a token of our appreciation from our college, I request my media team to share your appreciation certificate here. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving a very, very motivating, encouraging session here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you once again.
Thank you. I hope I have kept the timeline also.
Yes, sir. Very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping me inspired always. And thank you for allowing me to share the good things with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And an announcement for the delegates that this was the last session for today. And tomorrow we will meet exactly at 9:30. Good day to all of you. I'm sure you have seen in the chat box the feedback link. Do share your responses before 7 p.m. today. Thank you so much. We stop here today.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Gandhi, sir.
Link has been even we will be sharing on the WhatsApp group. So as Damle madam instructed, fill the attendance cum feedback link before 7 p.m. today. Tomorrow we will sharp begin at 9:30. So request all the participants to be present at 9:25 a.m. We'll start the next session tomorrow morning. Thank you.